This is exit planning. How long should I go no contact? So, this is an excerpt from my book titled Toxic Encounters: Why You Should Go No Contact Post Rebounding, Part 3, and it is the third part in a three-part series which will be available on Amazon Spring 2021. So, I'm going to read the passage from the book and do a little bit of an analysis. The no contact method may involve a timeline of 2 weeks, months, or years. It requires you to endure emotional hurdles, isolation, loneliness, and challenges to your position. It is not easy to make a final decision about a romantic relationship. If you loved the person and you hoped so much for the relationship, it is difficult to say now to the person, we can no longer be together. You are used to the person coming through the door, calling, texting you, and wanting to know about your day. It is especially difficult to let someone go when you had plans to marry the person. Now, what am I supposed to do? This is the question most people ask themselves after the breakup of a relationship. Leaving a romantic relationship is the same as walking through a wilderness of dry land without any water in sight. Now, I want to address a key word here, which is position. It's the second sentence. As you can see, it requires you to endure emotional hurdles, isolation, loneliness, and challenges to your position. Position is just another way of saying argument, that your argument is basically we are in relationship. There's really no hint of us, breaking up. And if we do break up, we're going to come back in relationship, because why else would I actually invest in this person if we were not going to stick and stay together? And I think that's the reason why some people have a problem with letting go of a romantic relationship, because then it is a challenge to their own position. Sometimes it can be very embarrassing. Here it is, you kind of flaunted your relationship in front of your family members or in friends or just in social spaces, and now you no longer have that relationship, or you flaunted that relationship and then you found out, like everybody else found out, that he cheated on you. You feel embarrassed. Your position was challenged. Your argument about the relationship was challenged. But then you don't want to take a full L. You don't want to be a loser. That's why I think we try to stay in even toxic relationships, because we don't want to lose. We don't want to fail. There will be another failure on our record. And so we sort of change our positions. We are flexible with our positions. Well, he only cheated once, and we can still work this out. Well, he only, left the house and didn't come home for a week, just that one time. And so I believe we can work this out. I love him and he says he loves me. So I don't see what the problem is. And then it's hard to let go of a romantic relationship, especially if you live together or were married, when you were used to coming home and seeing that person every day after work. That's one of the things. I'm not much of a person who gets lonely because I am a loner, but I did invest in my last relationship to the point that I looked forward to coming home. And I've always looked forward to coming home as a single individual, but I really looked forward to coming home and seeing him and, talking to him and cooking him dinner, and we watching TV, texting him throughout the day, etc. But he was not really committed to the relationship. And I was honestly in relationship with myself. So it should make it much easier then to adopt a no contact strategy, because once you realize that you were doing all of the work in the relationship, which is really a relationship that you were having honestly with yourself, then it's much easier to say, you know what, I don't need to continue investing in something that really wasn't even in existence for me, that it was kind of all in my head. Even if I was investing, even if I believed what he said, it was still sort of all in my head. And lastly, I think we stay in these relationships, these toxic encounters, because what do we now do with ourselves? Here it is, we've spent so much time investing in a relationship, and we're not talking about 3 months. Even if you can still count that with some kind of legitimacy, I'm talking about 6 months to 2 years or more. And now, what am I supposed to do? So I'm no longer with somebody again, or I'm single again. And so sometimes we procrastinate the transition process simply because we don't want to go back to our original position. Because why would we ever engage the dating market just to be alone again? So that's something that I want you to think about when you are thinking about your position, the key word here being position, which is similar to argument. And think about that, and think about it in terms of, at some point in your development, and your transition process, you're going to actually have to transition. Hopefully you were able to gain some insight from that brief discussion. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. You can also visit my website, send me an email, and I will respond. References to the books will be available on Amazon Spring 2021. Thank you for visiting the channel.